Nice. Okay. AI and user experience is the topic for the talk today. Welcome to Sticky Notes. Every other week, we from the user story hold a short talk on our lunch break. Usually it's Fridays, today's Thursday. Um, and it's essentially just aimed at touching on a topic that relates somehow to user experience or the other work we do. Um, let's start with a quick show of hands here. Who here has heard about AI? Okay. Sorry, there's a phone going. Um, okay. Oh, there we go. Right. So who here is confident they would be able to define what AI is? See, I wasn't either. So I started as anybody would, and I asked Google. Now, as it turns out, the answer is this, and also that. Because Google uses AI to troll through and categorize all of the websites and all of the data it accumulates from the web. And it also uses AI to map users' search queries to that data and rank it according to what it thinks you might be looking for. And once it's done with that, it also records what you click on to help it learn how accurate it was and to improve in the future. So this is a process called machine learning. And that's what AI usually, or artificial intelligence, usually refers to when it's being talked about at the moment. There's many applications for AI, and as you can see, many of them are already very much part of our daily lives without us realizing it. And most of them can be put into three categories. The first one is language processing. This is parsing natural language in any form, and it helps computers to understand us. This can be written word, for example, with automatic translation or chatbots. It can be spoken for applications like dictation typing and voice assistants. The second one is image processing. And my clicker isn't working anymore. There we go. No, too far. There we go. Image processing. It's essentially the same as before, but for visual information instead of language. It works on both still and moving images, and such cases include things like image search or facial recognition. But it can also work the other way around, and it can generate images like all of the illustrations for this presentation. And lastly, there is AI prediction, which helps computers forecast anything from the weather through financial markets all the way to which movies you want to watch today. But how does that work? On a very superficial level, AI is a little bit like a dog in that you have to train it in order for it to do what you want it to. You feed it data and show it what you expect to get back from when you feed it that data. And you repeat this enough times and it eventually starts to become more and more reliable in that. And this plays into an important aspect of how we as UX professionals need to treat AI. It gets more and more accurate as time goes on, but there's always a chance that it will get things wrong. And users get frustrated with AI because they are used to applications being consistent and predictable. And this is why guiding users and being careful with how we word and describe the product's capabilities are very important. It's one thing to have a search query misunderstood and type it by hand or not have your phone hear you when you shout for it. But when AI, trained on biased data, suggests where police should patrol and thereby affects the very statistics which it is basing its decisions on, it enters a vicious cycle with severe consequences. When we do decide it is safe and sensible to use machine learning and our users interact directly with the AI, the usability heuristics we use depend heavily on the use case, but as a general rule, it is very important to ensure responsiveness and competence of the application. Responsiveness meaning that it reacts to the user within sort of an acceptable or expected time frame that can vary on the application. With a search query, you would probably expect nearly instantaneous reaction. If you want to generate an image, you might be more inclined to wait maybe for a minute or so while it does its thing. And regarding competence, it's important to ensure that the result that the AI gives you is within an acceptable margin of error, that it's not too far off, at least, of what the user actually wants. Ultimately, the robots are not here to take our jobs, at least not yet. They are, however, changing the way we work. And in the future, we might use artificial intelligence to speed up user research and design ideation, or to automatically check for compliance with accessibility and usability heuristics. And that will help us deliver more and better experiences. Here's my sources. And thank you all. Are there any questions? Oh, Semi.
I'll come closer because I've got the other microphone up and running. Do you think, after looking at through your research, that in the same way you'd apply design principles when you're thinking about how we do design here at the User Story or any business, you'd apply principles in the same way to when you should and shouldn't apply artificial intelligence, AI?
Absolutely. So it very much depends on some questions that you can find in the source, but I didn't reference it during the talk. The People and AI guidebook from Google, they really touch on when it makes sense to use AI and when it doesn't, because sometimes it's just not a sensible application when you can achieve a task without it in a much more time efficient and also resource efficient manner, and likely more reliable than with AI. Any more questions?
Brilliant, Steve.
No, thank you. Short and pleasant. That wraps it up for this week. And I think, who's up next?
Very good question. We'll get a post out confirming because I can't quite remember.
We'll get a post out. I think Holly has the next presentation, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure on the topic right now, but if you stay tuned to our social media channels, you will find out.